So that's what I've done in elections on this problem of our country being flooded with illegal criminals, frankly, who came across our border over the last 4 years. But I've also worked on a lot of the other kind of consequences of that. Last year, before President Trump was elected, Texas was in a huge battle with the federal government, with the Joe Biden administration, because they were the subject of a foreign invasion across their border, and as a state, they have a sovereign right to defend themselves. So they started putting wire on the border, and Joe Biden went to court to sue them to stop them from doing it. And so we ended up with this weird situation. It's like Apocalypse Now, where we build the bridge every day, and the North Vietnamese would blow it down every night. Well, every day they'd put out the wire, and every night the Border Patrol would come out and have to pull it out. But you know what? Walls work, because all of the illegal immigration moved to Arizona, where they didn't have a triple strand concertina wire to keep people from coming in. Well, when I was last year, when we were in the legislature, we heard about this battle. I sponsored a resolution that was co-sponsored by 60 legislators and passed overwhelmingly, even with some Democrat votes in the House. Just to say, with one voice as a legislature, we support Texas. We want our governor to support Texas in their fight to defend the border. Because every state's a border state. Once they cross that border and they're on the highways, they're being trafficked, that every state's a border state. And because every state's a border state, we have a huge problem with fentanyl in Kansas and right here in Leavenworth. 2 years ago, we had a dozen deaths from fentanyl overdose, and about 48 calls where the police were called because somebody overdosed. Last year, we had fewer calls, but the same number of deaths, because the fentanyl's become more and more lethal. In addition to being the chairman of the Elections Committee, I'm also the chairman of the Security Committee, and every year I have the state the state highway patrol and the KBI come in and talk to us about these issues. And I can't remember if it was the troopers or KBI that told us this, but they seize enough fentanyl every year to kill every man, woman, and child in the state of Kansas 5 times over. And most people that are dying don't know that they're taking fentanyl. I heard this horrible story from a good friend of mine, Andy Burris. His son bought a pill he thought was Percocet, took it. He took it in front of his friends on FaceTime, just to kind of share the experience of doing drugs, and died right in front of his friends. It's right down the road here in Lansing. He didn't even know he was taking fentanyl. Those little fake pills, 60% of them have a lethal dose of fentanyl. What kind of business model is that? Where 6 in 10 pills you sell are going to kill the person who bought it. This isn't commerce. This is chemical warfare waged by China on America through these Mexican cartels. So we got to stop the flow. So what I've been doing in the legislature, I worked with Carrie Barth and Rebecca Schmoy, 2 incredible legislators who've been working on this human trafficking problem, and they've been addressing the smuggling piece of it. Because, before they got to work on this, if a big U-Haul full of illegal immigrants got stopped on the highway, the state trooper could only give them a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt, because it wasn't a crime to smuggle humans. So now it's a crime to smuggle humans. I was proud to stand with them. And I'm a member of an organization called the American Legislative Exchange Council, where I'm the chairman of the Homeland Security Task Force there. And I actually brought him up to share that with legislators across the country so that could become a law in every state across the country. I also have been working on the fentanyl problem directly. Last year, I worked with a group of families that have lost people to fentanyl overdose, and we passed a law that expands the Good Samaritan law. So if somebody overdoses, everybody doesn't split. They actually call for help and get that person help, so maybe we can save them. But then once I dug into that, I discovered that there are a bunch of legal hurdles to stop law enforcement from actually administering Narcan, which can save people, carrying and administering Narcan. And frankly, a lot of police were just breaking the law and doing it anyways because it's an emergency. But this year we passed a law to remove all those legal obstacles so that they could carry and administer Narcan and save lives, because they're usually the first people who show up on the scene.